This is the story of a civilization that existed approximately 2,000 years ago, a large part of North America. The people of this civilization faced many challenges in their daily lives, and eventually, their land became part of what is now known as the United States of America. Today, we delve into their story. At the beginning of the story, we see a tribal group hunting a wild animal. The animal is running away when its leg gets caught in a rope, which is actually a trap. These people often place traps in various parts of the forest. As soon as the animal's leg gets entangled, a sharp wooden structure strikes and pierces the animal. The group cheers at their success, retrieves the animal, and starts dividing it into portions for everyone. One man in the group, who has no children, receives the animal's testicles when it's his turn. The others tell him that eating them will help him conceive children. However, when he refuses to believe this, another man, Jack, the hero of the story, intervenes and insists it's true. Jack's father, Marish, stands in the background watching. The man reluctantly eats the testicles, but finds the taste so revolting that he throws up. Everyone laughs at him, mocking him, which angers him. He starts to argue, but Marish steps in to stop the fight and takes the man aside. Marish advises him to be more tolerant and asks why he always becomes the subject of ridicule. The man confesses that he is mocked because he cannot father a child. Marish then gives him a leaf, saying it is medicine. He explains that the man must not eat it, but instead use it during intimacy with his wife. The man believes him and feels hopeful. Later, the man returns to his friends, and they all joke around. Suddenly, they sense someone in the forest. Jack calls out, asking who's there and what they want. A group of indigenous people emerges, carrying 3 or 4 large fish. They say they are only passing through the area. Jack and his group allow them to pass after giving them a piece of their hunt. However, more indigenous people, many of whom are injured, appear from the forest. Jack asks what happened to them. They reply that their tribe has been destroyed, and they are seeking a new beginning elsewhere. After hearing this, the group lets them move on. Marish then tells everyone to return to their village. On the way back, Jack looks troubled. Marish notices and tells him that something terrible must have happened to the other tribe. When they reach their village, they find it bustling and happy. People are joking and laughing. The man who was previously mocked is grabbed by an old woman, his mother-in-law, who tells him she wants a grandson. She warns him that if he cannot provide her with one, she will find someone else for her daughter. And by pushing him, she sends him to his wife. Within a short time, both of them come running out, screaming, because after applying the marish leaves, they start feeling a burning sensation. And due to the irritation, they both start running around, screaming. Everyone laughs at them and enjoys the situation. After this, Jack goes home and meets his 4-year-old son, and his wife is pregnant. Soon, a little guest will arrive at their house. Jack is very happy with his family and loves them dearly. The next morning, Jack is awakened by the sound of a dog barking. He realizes that there's some commotion outside. The next moment, we see outside where a terrifying and fierce-looking tribal man named Nubanga appears, with all his companions hiding behind bushes. At his signal, they come out holding torches. Jack looks outside and sees burning torches. He realizes there's danger outside, so he quickly takes his family and tries to leave. Just then, one of the tribal men attacks them, but Jack kills him and starts heading toward an old dry well with his family. Meanwhile, the fierce tribals attack everyone, tying their hands and feet and burning down all the huts one by one. On the other side, Jack starts lowering his wife and son into the well with the help of a rope. But during this time, one of the attackers spots Jack and starts running towards him. Seeing this, Jack quickly lowers his family, but they fall down. Just as the tribal man reaches him, Jack kicks him down. Before the man can reach the well, Jack grabs his leg and pulls him back. But at that moment, the attacker realizes that Jack's family is in the well, so Jack kills him to protect them. After this, he tells Seven, "I need to go get help for my people." Although Seven tries to stop him, Jack promises to return and leaves. Jack's people have been taken captive, and many have been killed. There is a very dangerous tribal leader named Gerardo, and now Jack's fight with Gerardo begins. Gerardo attacks Jack with a knife, but Jack grabs the knife and turns it against him. Just as Jack is about to kill him, Nubanga, the chief, arrives and captures Jack. However, Gerardo wants to kill Jack, but the chief stops him, saying that he needs young people. Jack's father has also been captured, and Jack says to him, "Please forgive me, father." Hearing this, Gerardo realizes that this is Jack's father, so he takes revenge by killing Jack's father in front of him. After this, he strikes Jack with great force, causing Jack to lose consciousness. When he regains his senses, he sees that all his companions have been captured. Jack looks towards the well where his family is, and just then, the chief son, Kumba, sees him. Kumba walks over to the well and notices a rope tied inside it, which raises his suspicion. He starts looking into the well, but before he can find anything, Seven hides with her son under a stone. After seeing no movement, Kumba throws a large stone into the well, but there is no response. He then cuts the rope, preventing Jack's wife and son from coming up. After capturing all the members of the tribe, they set off on a long journey. On the way, they encounter other tribesmen who are also traveling to settle in a new place. However, these fierce tribesmen capture them too. Now, all of them embark on a painful journey where they must cross rivers and navigate difficult mountain paths. After traveling for a long distance, they pass through a place where they see many dead bodies. It is clear that these people died from a contagious disease. There is also a little girl who is still alive and asks the fierce tribesmen for help, saying that she is alone and needs to be taken along. However, despite her repeated pleas, they push her away. Jack and his companions witness the girl's condition, but are helpless to do anything. The girl then says that a sacred time will come soon when darkness will fall during the day, and a man will bring an end to their entire empire. Afterward, they continue their journey. After several hours, they reach a village full of workers who, despite their poor condition, are forced to work. However, instead of being left there, they are taken further, where the tribe leader Nubanga meets with a man who asks how many people there are. Nubanga replies that his son will tell them, but this time they demand a better price as they plan to sell them. They are all freed, but the women captives are auctioned off first. The remaining men are taken further, where there is a large crowd. Jack and some of his companions are painted with color, but they have no idea what is going on or what will happen to them. It turns out that this place is a kind of temple where human sacrifices are made. Jack and some of his companions who are painted are taken there. Many people are present, and the king is also there. A man is shouting loudly that their god is angry with them. After saying that diseases are spreading everywhere and that sacrifices must be made to please God, they begin sacrificing people one by one. Then it is Jack's turn, but before they can sacrifice him, a solar eclipse occurs. Slowly, darkness spreads, causing panic among the people. Everyone starts praying. Since the eclipse is considered inauspicious, the sacrifice is stopped, and they decide to kill the people in a different way, considering them impure. After the eclipse ends, Jack and the others are taken to a different place and are told to run back to the forest. Two of them are sent first, and then the people begin throwing spears and other weapons at them, killing them. Jack and his companion then run, but they separate to avoid the attacks. Still, Jack's companion is hit by an arrow and falls. As Jack reaches the edge of the field, an arrow pierces him as well, but he is still alive. The chief's son, who had been present earlier, comes to kill Jack, but before he can do so, Jack's companion knocks him down. However, the chief's son kills Jack's companion. Then, the chief's son pulls out a knife to kill Jack, but before he can strike, Jack uses an arrowhead to fatally wound him. With the chief's son dead, Jack somehow manages to escape into the forest. The chief, in a frantic rush, reaches his son's body, and upon realizing his son's death, he becomes furious and determined to kill Jack at any cost. He, along with his men, begins chasing Jack. Meanwhile, Jack, wounded, is fleeing through the forest. He climbs a tree to hide. The chief and his men search for Jack under the tree but fail to spot him. After going some distance, Nubanga notices blood on one of his men's shoulders, which isn't his. He realizes it must be Jack's blood and suspects Jack is hiding in a tree. At the tree where Jack is hiding, a wild animal's baby appears, and soon its mother comes to attack Jack. Jack starts running and unknowingly runs towards the direction where the tribe members are. They see Jack and start chasing him. Jack is running very fast, and the fierce animal is behind him. Just before the animal can catch Jack, a man appears, and the animal attacks him, killing him. Jack escapes, but the tribe members are still chasing him. After several hours of running, Jack reaches a place where the path ends. It turns out to be a very high waterfall, and jumping from here means certain death. But since death is already behind him, Jack decides to jump and lands safely at the bottom. Miraculously, he survives and reaches the shore. When he looks up, he sees the tribe's chief and his men watching him. Jack challenges them, as he is now in his own jungle. He says, "This is my jungle. My ancestors hunted here, and now I hunt here too. This is my jungle, my territory. If you have the courage, come and face me." One of the men with the chief suggests they should leave, remembering the prophecy of a girl who had said that one day their end would come, and a man would come who would take them out of their jungle, and they would never return. Upon hearing this, the chief kills him with a knife because he was scared, and fear means death. Afterward, the fierce tribesmen start jumping one by one, but one of them dies in the process. The others manage to reach the shore and continue chasing Jack. While Jack is running, he suddenly falls into a swamp. However, he doesn't lose hope and manages to pull himself out of the mud, though his body is covered in it. At this point, his mind races and he stops to tell himself, I am Jack, and this is my jungle. No one can defeat me here, and I am not afraid of anyone. Instead of running from the tribe members, he starts killing them one by one in different ways. First, he releases bees on them, which makes their situation worse. Then, he catches a frog and extracts venom from its bite. He hides and waits for them to approach. As soon as the last man comes near, Jack strikes him with the venomous bite, killing him. At that moment, the man who had killed his father appears in front of him. Jack notices a weapon lying in the middle of the ground. He starts running toward it, and someone else begins moving toward it as well. However, Jack reaches the weapon first, picks it up, and turns to strike Gerardo, injuring him severely. Jack then attacks him again, ultimately killing him. At this moment, it starts raining, and Jack is reminded of his wife and child. He starts running toward the well, where water is continuously filling up. Meanwhile, his wife begins to experience labor pains. Jack reaches the well, where his wife and child call out to him for help. However, 3 tribal warriors are still chasing him. Jack runs past the well to avoid them, but 2 of the men notice his wife and child inside the well. The tribal chief Nubanga, a ruthless leader, continues chasing Jack. Eventually, Nubanga catches up with Jack and shoots an arrow that strikes him in the chest. Jack, now wounded, stands his ground. Nubanga draws a knife and charges at Jack, unaware of a trap in the area. As soon as Nubanga's foot triggers the trap, a sharp wooden structure pierces through his body, killing him instantly. Jack realizes he must keep running as the remaining 2 warriors are still after him. Meanwhile, the water in the well rises dangerously, and his wife struggles to save their child while giving birth to another baby amidst the chaos. Jack, exhausted, reaches the seashore and stops to catch his breath. He looks toward the ocean in amazement and notices large ships approaching, with smaller boats heading toward the island. The 2 warriors chasing Jack also arrive and pause, mesmerized by the sight of the ships. Taking advantage of this distraction, Jack rushes back to the well. There, he finds his family on the brink of drowning, but he also sees that his wife has successfully given birth to another child. Relieved that his family has survived despite all the hardships, Jack takes a moment of peace. In the story's conclusion, Jack is with his family in the jungle. His wife, looking at the ships in the ocean, asks if they should leave the island and go toward them. Jack replies, "No, we should stay in the jungle and start anew." The family then walks deeper into the forest to begin their new life. Unbeknownst to them, the ships belong to Europeans, whose arrival marks a historic turning point. Their intent to colonize the islands foreshadows the end of the Mayan civilization. With this, the story concludes.